on 10 minutes of morning calm. And today what we're looking at is this fascinating concept of polarities in a third way. And so much of our spiritual journey, it all belongs. It's a great place to start. And a lot of the time we go through these times where it actually is anything but the third way, where it's very stark, where it's this versus that. It's black or white. Everything is broken into binaries, or as my dear friend calls them, polarities, these different polarities. And it appears that never the twain shall meet. We have a really hard time struggling with those areas that are in the gray. And this is a necessary part of life. It's a necessary part of maturation where we really do start to understand, yes, some things are right and some things are wrong. It's an important part to be in, but we don't want to live there forever. That's for sure. We do want to eventually develop a third way. So I wanted to read you a line out of the book, Secrets of Heaven. And here it's talking about this biblical phrase about Ishmael, this ancient forefather. It says his hand will be against everyone and everyone's hand against him. And it's talking about a mental perspective here of yeah, there are times where we really think everybody's against us or we're against everyone, where everything ends up being a battle. And this is how it refers to that. This state of life resembles a wild donkey. One could say ass there. It fights everyone and everyone fights it. In fact, it hardly ever thinks or dreams of anything but fighting, which is always spoiling for a fight. An overarching pleasure or supreme desire, its overarching pleasure is the supreme desire to win. And once it is won, it is to celebrate the victory. That is really interesting. So this particular stage of life, really all it wants to do is fight. All it wants to do is argue. And I know for those of you who've been in a caregiving or parenting or grandparenting role, that sounds an awful lot like a teenage mindset at times, which it is, because a teenage mindset at times can just be spoiling for a fight. And the challenge is, folks, when we live there. Martin Luther King had a beautiful line that I repeat a lot in sermons because I think it's so important. And it was in the 10, I believe it's titled The 10 Rules of Nonviolent Resistance. You could Google it and see if I have that title right. And within those 10 rules, there's one that has leapt out just again and again to me over the years, which is we do not desire victory, we desire reconciliation. And I don't have that phrased exactly right, but it's in that arena. We don't desire victory, we desire reconciliation. That's profound, because so much of life, we really go into a binary and we think either this or it's that. And here's Martin Luther King saying, no, if you're going to go into life, if you go into your pursuit of what he called the blessed community, if you're going to lean towards that, if that's what you really want to do, you're going to have to give up this idea of victors, and there's the victor and there's the defeated, and instead come more and more around to the idea of reconciliation. That it's really about how do we reconcile together more and more in our world. And folks, I think that's so important. I mean, it just feels like, again, it feels like the election season is going to be spinning out of control in the pretty near future. And regardless of what side you're on, I don't know a lot of people who are feeling like, oh, isn't this a terrific season for our country, for our communities? At least nobody's told me that, but maybe there's some out there who do. Regardless of that, it's just so important to remember life isn't all, it's not all a zero-sum game. That's sort of a more immature way to see the world. We want to understand that the world is broken and the world is blessed, and we just keep on moving forward as best we can. Not about victory, but about reconciliation, about how do we reconcile one with another so we can bring our best selves to bear. That has the imprint, the thumbprint, the knowledge of heaven embedded in it. And that's where we want to go. So may you have a day where you are tempted towards victory. And we all have that temptation on a daily basis. And remember for today, Martin Luther King's words, what we desire is not victory, but reconciliation. Hope that makes a lot of sense, friends. And that is what the third way is all about. So, with that, dear friends, what we're going to do now is we're going to take a little breath and we're going to shift gears. The way we shift gears here is we go into a little meditative space, looking at a beautiful passage from the Old Testament. Then we do a little prayer, the Our Father prayer from the New Testament, and then we come back to the Old Testament with the ancient Levitican blessings. We close the service, and I will be able to take questions. Questions and comments. If you care to leave them on social media today, I'm actually joining you today from Harmerville, Pennsylvania. I'm out here to do both a baptism and a funeral memorial service out here over the next couple of days. So, friends, with that, let's get our breath. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, and bring you home. Amen. All right, dear friends, let's give a little cheery hello to folks who might be joining us out there on the big World Wide Web. Okay. A little comment there. Good morning, Marcus, and good morning to you, Eric. Great to have you guys joining us this morning. And let's flip over to here. All right, couple more comments over here. Good morning to you, Linda. And yes, may you all enjoy this beautiful day. So take care, friends. May you have a day just filled with a lot of peace that comes from not living life all the time in a binary way. Take care. Bye-bye.